I mentioned in a recent video that I am done buying gear just for the sake of having the latest tech. However, I am always looking to improve as a shooter and for ways to give my GH5 footage a unique look. Let me be clear, the Sirui 50mm f1.8 anamorphic lens doesn't give you a cinematic look. This lens is cinema. So for the 10 of you that watch my cure for gear acquisition syndrome video, I get it. You're a little disappointed in me. You felt that I would never buy another camera or lens ever again. And to that I say, you were wrong. I not only bought the Sirui 50mm anamorphic lens, my Sirui 35mm ana lens should be here in a few weeks. All I would need is Sirui to come out with a 16mm and 100mm version, and that would be my new lens kit for filming weddings. I think these lenses would add lots of value to my work and my GH5 footage. With this lens, actually let's talk about it while I do this unboxing. With this lens, you know how when we're making our videos and we put the letterbox on, you know, the black bars on top of 16:9 footage, we're trying to get a more cinematic look. I actually have a whole video on cinematic wedding films in my new filmmaking course, which you can find in the description below. The problem with putting letterboxes on my footage sometimes, I mean, I like the look of it. The problem I run into is when I'm filming a wedding and I don't always have the letterboxes in mind. So when I put the letterbox on, I'm losing valuable real estate on top of my footage. Now, most of the time when I'm filming weddings, I know, especially when I get to the cinematic film, I'm gonna put the black bars on the top and bottom. So if I wanna get a close up, I back up a little bit, but it's not always the case. So this lens, okay, here it is. Oh, it's a little heavy. All right. This lens will give me the wide angle look that I'm always looking for. Okay, let's talk about corner edge sharpness. I'm sorry guys, anytime I say or hear corner edge sharpness, I get bored and fall asleep. So let's actually talk about what it's like to film with this lens all day. Just give me 5 more seconds, just 5 more seconds.
I think it's time to put them in their place. I'ma have to set them straight. You don't know me, you don't know where I'm from or what I had to do to get this plate. Hey, let me paint a picture. Everybody dissing, acting like it wasn't cool to listen. Now look at me. I say now look at me. Let me get it started. Yo.
So using this lens on the GH5 is super easy. You don't have to enable the anamorphic mode. The only thing you're going to want to do so that the image is being displayed correctly is to activate the GH5's de-squeeze view. For the most part, I only use the Sirui lens to film behind the scenes footage of me filming the wedding. I did get a few B-roll shots just so I could see how they looked. For the BTS shots of myself, I set the GH5 with the Sirui 50mm on a tripod and just left it there while I worked. Luckily, the rooms for this wedding were really big because I had to have the camera pretty far away to get head to toe shots of me. So the minimum focal distance for this lens is 2.7 feet, which was fine for any medium shots I wanted to get of myself or detail shots I wanted to film. It became a little challenging when I wanted to get wide shots of myself where you could see my whole body from head to toe. So here is an example of the Sirui lens about 3 feet from me, and here is the Sirui lens about 20 to 30 feet away from me. That's how far I had to put the camera away from me for the extreme wide shots, because from top to bottom of the screen, it's like you're shooting with a 100mm lens. This was the only shot I got at the ceremony using the lens, and I was about 15 feet away from the bride. So for shots like this, it worked out great. When it was time for me to get the couple shots, my wife took the camera with the Sirui lens on it and got some shots of me. For the whole sequence where I was getting ready and on my way to go film the wedding, I used a 1/4 Black Pro Mist filter on the Sirui 50mm. And for the outdoor shots on my way to the wedding, I used a 1/4 Black Pro Mist filter and a variable ND filter. Once I got to the wedding, I did not use any filters on the Sirui lens at all because I was using all my filters on the lenses that I was actually filming the wedding with. 99% of all my shots using the Anamorphic lens were shot on the GH5 at 24 frames per second on a tripod. The one shot I got using the Sirui lens at 60 frames per second on a gimbal using the GH5S was this one shot at the reception. Weight-wise, the Sirui lens feels almost as heavy as the Sigma Art 1835. The Sirui is definitely lighter, but they feel similar in weight. Unfortunately, I did not get to do any handheld shots with this lens at the wedding, and I'll probably do that type of test once I get the 35mm in a few weeks. So if Sirui, and I think I'm saying it right, so if Sirui comes out with more of these lenses in different focal lengths, this 50mm would be used for the ceremony and reception. I'm typically using the Samyang 85mm t1.5 to film all of our close-ups on the wedding day, so this lens would probably replace the 85mm for me. Now, I'm not a professional colorist, but I'll give you my process for color grading the short film. I wanted to use a LUT that most of you GH5 users already had, so I used the Panasonic Vlog to V709 LUT. Color-wise, the lens is pretty close to where I wanted it. Once I threw that LUT on, I pretty much corrected my white balance, adjusted the highlights, added a little saturation, and then I was done. I don't have another anamorphic lens, so this comparison is probably not fair to the other lenses, but I will do a quick image comparison with the Sirui going up against a few of my lenses. I think that's all I want to talk about today. If you guys found this video helpful, hit all the bells and whistles below and check out my new wedding filmmaking course in the description below. Thanks guys. Peace.